My top 25 favorite songs as of 2023. I've been wanting to make this video for a long time because I thought it would be interesting to document my favorite songs over the years. To me, this list is music that means something to me, stuff that for some reason resonates with me, and it's something that I keep on coming back to. So this is by no means the best music of all time. It's just my favorite songs that I've ever listened to. So starting off the list at number 25, I have Sometimes by My Bloody Valentine. I picked Sometimes because it feels like a warm blanket that just wraps around you, and it's just these waves of lush distortion just enveloping your ears. And there are definitely more versatile, more punchy tracks on Loveless, but to me this song is what I come to the album for, this place of comfort and nostalgia.
I have to go. I'm so sorry.
At number 24, I have Gone by Charlie XCX featuring Christine and the Queens. This song is so anthemic, it's so huge, it's so wide scale, and it's definitely one of my favorite pieces of pop music I've ever listened to. Cool, it's very futuristic, it's industrial, but it's also very poppy, and I think Charlie just does a really good job of creating a complete package of futuristic, almost cybernetic pop music, and it's really fun to listen to every single time. At number 23, I have The Moment by Tame Impala. The reason I picked The Moment is because of the messaging behind the track, and the way the song portrays that. What he's talking about is the present moment, and I feel like the song just accents that idea really well with this repetitive drum loop, and then just you have these really addictive synths and guitar lines going over the top, and just this incredible mix, and then Kevin's high-pitched voice coming in over the top, and it's so addictive. It's so steady, it's so stable, and it's just rocking from the beginning to the end until that massive crescendo with the different noises and stuff. I mean, this is a great track, and I can't recommend it enough. And I think it's a very Tame Impala. At the number 22 spot, I have Slow by Black Midi. I picked Slow as my favorite track from them because even though a lot of their songs are hit or miss for me, this is the song that actually got me into their music, and I don't know why, ever since my first listen, it's just clicked. And you know, I think my favorite part of the song is how everything slows down and the vocalist's voice gets all low and monotone, and it just builds and builds. And yeah, it's just a fantastic finish. Other rock bands don't really come close to Black Midi's appeal and the exact niche it's targeting, and just it fills a hole in my brain that no other band can really get into. At number 25, I have Man is Like a Spring Flower by Lingua Ignota. It's really hard for me to dive into this song and why it's so fantastic, because there's so much happening technically in terms of the instrumental, the sample that's played in the beginning, the way everything builds, and the folk instrumentation that's creating this extremely full and rich sound, especially nearing the end of the track. A lot of Lingua Ignota's tracks can often be very harsh and abrasive, and this song is not happy exactly, it's definitely not that, but it's just such a beautiful piece of music to me. At number 20, I have Mini Pop's 67 by Aphex Twin. I think Mini Pop 67 sticks out to me because it feels like a complete journey in the world of Aphex Twin, and it feels like you're on a ride inside of his mind. It's this incredibly bustling beat, and it's just constantly shifting. You have this weird, like almost moaning sound come in, but it works in the way that it's placed in the mix, and it sounds beautiful, and then transitions into this incredible piano lick that just, it sounds incredible. At number 19, I have Kingslayer by Bring Me the Horizon featuring Baby Metal. The entire post-human survival horror album is just like bangers on bangers for me, but I don't think anybody can debate the fact that Kingslayer is just the one that sticks out as just the most addictive, the most abrasive, the most aggressive, and just so catchy, especially with Baby Metal's vocals coming in over the top. Honestly, there isn't much to say about this song. If you love nu metal, if you love Deftones, if you love Linkin Park, listen to this song. You're gonna love it because it kicks ass every single time you listen to it, and I still haven't gotten sick of it almost 3 years after its release.
All's my life I has to fight, nigga.
So at number 18, I have All Right by Kendrick Lamar. I just had to pick this one because it's so infectious, and I keep coming back to it, and it never sounds bad, and I never get tired of it. You know, Pharrell's production is just infectious. The drumming on this song is immaculate, and I'm a sucker for that. And most importantly, Kendrick's rapping is just phenomenal, and it really is just a display of sheer skill, excellence, but it's also powerful, and it comes from a real place. At number 17, I have the track by Death's Dynamic Crowd, Judgment Bolt. This song in particular just stuck out, and it has been stuck in my head since I heard it. It's very futuristic, it's so alien and very human at the same time. It's so glitchy. It has so many different musical passages that all sound beautiful, and it's trippy, it's hypnotic in a way. And I just haven't heard an electronic track that has been able to put me in so many different emotional states in 4.5 minutes. At number 16, I have Those Who Can't Cheat by Clarence Clarity. Calling his production style electronic would be a real disservice to what his music really sounds like, because it really is so unique and so different. I haven't really heard anything like it, and this particular song is just incredibly catchy from the very first time I heard it. The bass line is it's chugging along and just pushing the song forward. And Clarence, even though he's not the most vocally proficient in my opinion, he has a knack for writing an extremely catchy hook. It feels exactly like how the album cover feels. It feels like a jungle that's been sliced into a perfect cube. It really is like a mishmash of organic and mechanical feeling music, and it feels so unique. And I just haven't heard a producer that's as unique, special, and just vibrant as Clarence Clarity is. At number 15, I have, of course, Voyager by Daft Punk. Picking Voyager for me was just about which song has stuck out to me most over time. And I mean, the bass line on this song is just absolutely killer. I feel like Voyager, for me, really captures what Daft Punk is and what's so unique about their music, because this song is kind of like a linear progression building to something, and you know, it's just groovy, it's funky, it's electronic in Daft Punk fashion, and it's really fun. At number 14, we have Idols with Colossus. I don't think I had ever heard a punk song quite like Colossus, because you know, it starts off very skeletal feeling with these sticks creating a small beat with a bass guitar roaring in the background, and then you have Joe Talbot's vocals coming in, and the way the track progresses, it's just slowly inching and becoming more and more massive, just like a colossus taking steps and just growing with each one. At number 13, we have the legend himself, Playboi Carti with R.I.P. I think Carti has more abrasive songs that go objectively harder than R.I.P. But to me, this is the perfect mosh pit song. The 808s on this, I feel like, mimic the rhythm of a mosh pit. It's a really good song that captures both Carti's more fun and like eclectic side while also having the more abrasive, aggressive side of his music, and it just comes into this great fusion which just makes it for so much fun while still being cathartic, and it's a really great release, especially if you're jumping around to this song. At number 12, we have the obviously legendary Godspeed You Black Emperor with Government Came. I think a lot of people will be surprised because they were probably expecting a pick off of Lift Your Skinny Fists if you're gonna go with Godspeed, but to me this track, unlike other Godspeed songs, it gives me this feeling of revelation, of victory, of glory, and it feels so rebellious, it's so pristine, it feels like royalty almost, and I don't know, I feel great listening to it every single time, and then the build is it's so satisfying. At number 11, I have The Glowing Man by Swans. Now, this song is no joke. It's 28 minutes and 51 seconds long, and it is a journey. It almost feels like a little bit of a cheat putting it on this list because it's almost the length of an album, but either way, I think Swans' music has this cryptic allure to it that, you know, that itch isn't really scratched by any other band. I think the fact that a band can hold my attention for 28 minutes, and it does do that, it holds my attention for the entire length of the track. Even though some parts might get repetitive, I find them to be hypnotic, I find them to be extremely addictive, and this track is almost like a religious experience. You come out the other side feeling like you're reborn almost, and I think it's very powerful that a piece of music can do that for me. At number 10, I have Dry Hands by C418. I think there are a million reasons why this song means so much to me. I played this game a lot, Minecraft, as a kid, and you know, the soundtrack has probably been in and out of my ears God knows how many times by now, but this song in particular I think is an interesting pick because I feel like other people who love this album will definitely have differing opinions, because you know, this song is only 1 minute and 9 seconds long. I also think it's really funny that I'm following up an almost 30-minute song with a 1-minute song, which is pretty interesting. Either way, I feel like despite the fact that this song only lasts 1 minute and 9 seconds, it tells a complete story, and it's a harrowing story almost, because this song is very, very emotional for me. It is just a piano being played out, and it's mixed beautifully. The tone of the piano is it's so rich, it's so dark, and it feels heavy. At number 9, I have Pamphlets by Squid, but I picked Pamphlets because it is the closing track of this album, and it feels immense. It feels like, it does truly feel like a finale, and I feel like it starts moving a lot faster than Narrator does with that bustling drum beat that comes in, which is to say, the drums on this song and on any other Squid song are always fantastic. Their drum tones, the way their drums are mixed in, is always extremely punchy, and I find it so addictive. You know, I feel like I could listen to their drum tracks isolated, but that's to say that, you know, there's so many other fantastic elements to this song too. The vocalist's weird yelpy style of delivery, like, it's very estranged, it's very manic, and I love listening to it. It makes me feel paranoid, but in the best way possible. At number 8, I have Drown by Genesis Owusu featuring Kiranjay Kalanan. Drown is such a beautiful track, and it's such a fun and energetic and yet emotional flurry of sound. It has this really bustling bass and just incredible beat that just keeps the music chugging along constantly, but then over this extremely energetic energized low end, you have this shrieking, wailing guitar that's playing out so slowly over the entire thing, and the contrast between these two things just sounds so beautiful. And I don't know, I find myself mesmerized by it every single time I listen to it. And then the contrast between Kieran's voice that is so low and so strong, and then in comparison to Genesis's voice, which is so high-pitched and floaty, and you know, it creates this dynamism in the track that just makes it so addictive, and it just feels like it's constantly changing. And you know, you never get bored as a listener because of just how dynamic this song is. At number 7, we have Someone Great by LCD Sound System. You know, LCD Sound System has this knack for electronic beats that are just incredibly funky and incredibly groovy. And this song does fall into those categories, but I think truly what makes it such a fantastic song from them is the heavy emotional weight, the pressing lyrics, and just the overall feel and vibe of this song are so unique. You know, it's rare that you find such an emotional track that you also find yourself grooving to and bopping your head to. And James Murphy's vocal performance, as always, is just fantastic. But I feel like my favorite thing about this track is the production. It feels like a machine or a weird robot like Wally is sitting down and composing this song with its weird beeps and boops that it just works. And it sounds beautiful despite how unabashedly electronic and computer-like the song is. It still feels extremely human. At number 6, I have Knees by Injury Reserve. This is a song that took me a really long time to start loving. A lot of people describe this album as the beginning of post-rap, which is an entire discussion in itself. But I do feel like that term is fitting because of how dismantled everything sounds almost. All of the verses in this song are just fantastic, and Groggs' verse especially is just heartbreaking. It's emotional, and I don't think it's ever not gonna resonate with me when I listen to him talk about the stuff that he's going through. Production wise, there's just so much going on, there's so much experimentation, but it's so fluid, it's so organic, and it makes sense. But it's not organic in a conventional way because it's very eerie, it's very foreign. This entire album that just feels so alien and yet so disgustingly human. You know, it really feels like the most anxious, most paranoid, most hurtful human emotions compressed into musical forms, with how disarrayed everything is and the random sounds that come in and out and the way the music almost oozes.
I'll take you to the dump. You mean, nigga,
What you niggas want?
At number 5, we have Rainbow Six by JPEG Mafia. It came down to Rainbow Six because how creepy, how eerie, you know, the almost horrific sound of this song really just continues to live in my brain to this day. And I really haven't heard a track that feels so violently horrific and just afraid of itself almost, with that very eerie sample of that man with that weird yelp. The production is incredibly punchy. The way the drums are mixed is extremely abrasive, and the contrast of these trap beats with these weird, alien, creepy, eerie vocals is just, it creates a feeling in me that I really haven't experienced before. And I feel like I picked this track because this is a track that really only JPEG Mafia could make and could pull off. At number 4, we have Death Grips with Full Moon Death Classic. This song is incredible. I can't get enough of it. Trying to pick one Death Grips song was really difficult because I feel like when you listen to one Death Grips song, you want to listen to all of them all of the time, because it is such an infectious group that just make extremely catchy music that just doesn't sound like anything else that's out there. But the reason I ended up picking Full Moon is because this is Death Grips' first ever song ever recorded, and it was recorded on the day that they were formed. And to think that a group that got together on the same day was able to come up with this is just ridiculous, because it is so in your face and it is so ridiculously off kilter. The entire time I'm listening to the song, it feels like everything is offbeat, and yet it still works, it still makes sense. And I think that's just what's so fantastic about Death Grips, is because half the time when I listen to their music, I'm like, this shouldn't work, but it does. There's so many adjectives that I could try to use to try and pinpoint what this thing sounds like. You know, it's loud, it's abrasive, it's raw, but it's also extremely punk. It has the energy of a rock song and a hip hop song, but also, you know, club music, and it's its own thing, because Zach Hill, Andy Morin, and MC Ride are truly musical freaks that just decided to throw all of their sounds together, and it just came together beautifully somehow. And you know, I'm here for it all day, every day, and no matter what they put out, I'm gonna listen to it, because in one way or another, it's gonna be fantastic. At number 3, I have The Place Where He Inserted the Blade by Black Country, New Road. Honestly, any song from Ants From Up There could be here, because I feel like they're all equally as good, equally as fantastic, equally well mixed, and it's a perfect album. I picked this track because, you know, first of all, it plays beautifully within the track list. It melds so beautifully thematically and sonically within the entire track list. You know, it's 7 minutes of pure bliss. The way they mix their music is just so perfect. It's so even and so well distributed and just well balanced. It's an extremely emotional track. You have Isaac's vocals, which, even though they may not be technically proficient, I think are absolutely perfect. They do a great job of embodying the persona's feelings and what he's saying in the lyrics. And even though it's slightly broken, I think it adds so much to the overall experience of the track, and it really feels like he's right there in the room singing this to you, and you can really feel him through the song. It feels like an extremely technically detailed painting of something that's incredibly beautiful but also incredibly sad. At number 2, I have Nikes by Frank Ocean. I picked Nikes for many reasons, and a big one being the fact that this was actually my most listened to song of 2023. So it had to make its way up here somewhere. It's deceptively simple. You know, it's a steady beat, and it feels like Frank is just freeballing over the top of it, just going over it with whatever he has on his mind. It feels very stream of consciousness. And you would think that would make for a boring song, but it doesn't, because it's the kind of song that you just put on and then you just soak into your bed. And you really get lost into the musical space that it creates. It really just feels like a musical pool that I can swim in and just exist in. Nikes is the best opening track that I've ever heard in terms of how it sets the mood for the album. It's weird because even though there isn't any hook on the song, all of it feels extremely catchy. I find myself singing along to the lyrics every single time. A part of that has to do with how dynamic Frank's voice is, you know, just how emphatic and emotional his delivery is on every track on Blonde, and especially on Nikes. A lot of people have related to this album, have found peace and solace in this album, have found emotional comfort in this album, and it isn't easy to describe why, because so much of the album feels like it was made on the fly or it was so stream of consciousness. But I think that exactly is why so many people relate to it, because it's human in a way that we can't really describe it. At number 1, I have Born Yesterday by Quadeca. Born Yesterday is an incredibly special track to me. Ever since I heard it, it truly has it's lived in my brain rent free. It's just beautiful. I feel heard, I feel connected to. Quadeca's sound is so unique and experimental, and yet it feels like home. You know, when I listen to this song, it feels like I'm staring at a long lost photo of myself that is dilapidated and damaged, and yet it feels incredibly nostalgic. The way it's been weathered and destroyed is incredibly beautiful. What Ben is able to dig into in terms of the lyrics, I don't think I can really put into words just how much I connect to this song, and I don't really understand fully why, but I think that's what makes it so fantastic for me. It's literally impossible to put a genre to Quadeca's sound. You know, what do you want to call it? Ambient, indie-tronica, folk-tronic, amazing stuff, core. It's like, it's just something else. It's otherworldly. You know, it's epic, but it's also soft, and it's this incredible fusion of acoustic and electronic elements. But you know, there's something so dated about how it sounds, but in the best way possible. My favorite moments in music are when things like verse chorus structure, or like builds, and all these things go out of the window, and all you have left is just the music, and you're listening to it, and it's going into your ears, and it makes perfect sense, and you don't really want to think about what it is that you're listening to. You just want to keep listening to it, and you want to keep experiencing it. And that's how I feel when I listen to Quadeca's music. And I feel like Born Yesterday is truly a mastery of his sound, especially within the world of I Didn't Mean to Haunt You. And yeah, I love this song. I can't get enough of it. It's my favorite song ever, and it's really stuck with me. I think a Quadeca analysis video is probably due and is probably on its way, if I can find a way to put how I feel about that music into words. But despite that, yeah, Born Yesterday, Quadeca, I Didn't Mean to Haunt You, at number 1. If you can spare the time, go listen to this song, go listen to the entire album, go watch the music videos and the visuals that accompany it. They all fit together so beautifully, and yeah, it's just an incredible piece of art. Anyway, those are my 25 favorite songs as of 2023. I'm interested to see how this list will change in the coming years. If you enjoyed watching this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Any and all support is heavily appreciated, and I will see you guys in the next video.